Hello, wonderful humans, and welcome back to Sargy Style. My name is Ashley Sargent, otherwise known as Sarge, and I created this channel as a lifestyle space for people whose lives are inherently different. And what I mean by that is someone who lives with chronic illness, including mental health disorders, disability, or anything else in your life that is challenging, hard, scary, or makes you feel like you don't fit in or that you're just othered. Welcome. This space is for you. You are safe and loved. So let's dive in. I have been on this who the heck am I self-discovery exploration journey recently because I realized that over the past few years I have really lost touch with who I am as a person, and I don't love that. I want to know who I am. I want to find my joy again, and I basically am working really hard to practice what I preach. So the challenge that I gave myself was to step back from my medical reality and to set some pretty strict boundaries. Meaning I would only talk, on my channel, I wouldn't be talking about my health. I would be talking about kind of my journey and other things, but not about my actual health. And in my life off of social media, I would only be spending 1 or 2 hours a day managing my healthcare stuff, which may sound like a lot, but I have spent upwards of 10 to 12 hours a day sometimes managing it. So I thought to myself, gosh, I'm really sad, I'm really overwhelmed, I'm really anxious, I have all these yuck emotions. This is probably what it is I'm over focused on my health and the struggles that are going with it. So let's set some boundaries. And I did, and I followed those boundaries. I'm proud of myself. I acknowledge that I did a good job in following those boundaries. But what I found to be very interesting and totally surprising, I did not expect this at all, is when I set those boundaries and I followed them, nothing changed. I was still sad. I was still scared, I was still overwhelmed, and I was still miserable. I was like, okay, now what? Because I thought, okay, well, if I can't blame it on my health, then what's going on? So I did some soul searching, and there was an event that happened. We had the double mass shooting in 24 hours in the US, and that event shook me deep and left me feeling super raw emotionally. And for some reason, just that event made me so raw emotionally that I was able to tap into a deeper part of myself. And I'm not totally sure why. I have some ideas, but I don't really want to talk about them on this video. It's not relevant. But anyway, I attempted to film a get ready with me video, and I was going to kind of just chit chat with you all. And it turned into me babbling for an hour. And I realized as I was just free talking, and I was very emotionally raw and overwhelmed that day, and oh my gosh, that it's not my health in the way that I thought that I was upset about. It's not the insurance, the bills, the back office type stuff of managing being sick that I'm struggling with and that is making me so miserable. It's actually the fact that I have lost a lot of things in my life and a lot of parts of myself because of my health. And I have never given myself permission to acknowledge that or to grieve that. So that was a really big realization for me, and one that I honestly was very surprised by. I thought that I had. I thought that I had acknowledged these things. I thought, I've gone to trauma therapy, I've been to counseling, all of these things, and I thought that I was in a better place with accepting my situation and what it means for my reality and my day-to-day life. But it turns out I'm struggling. So basically, like, I realized that I've lost parts of myself and parts of my life that I never acknowledged, and I needed to start acknowledging them. And this goes back all the way to the very, very beginning, to when I was in high school, and acknowledging how traumatic that was for me to get so sick so suddenly and to lose. I lost friends, I lost activities, I lost college opportunities, I lost the opportunity for the career that I had been really busting my butt to go to school for. There were just so many things in like the very beginning that, like, bam, right out of the chute, I lost. And I never fully acknowledged them and grieved them. And I think part of it is because at that time I was in straight up survival mode, and I also didn't have any idea that it was going to continue this long. If you had told me when I was a junior in high school that I would be 33 years old and my health would still be controlling every aspect of my life and it would still be this really big piece of my reality, I don't know what I would have done. It's probably for the best that I didn't know. But it took almost 10 years for me to get my first diagnosis. So my 20s were like a really weird time because I was constantly being told that everything was in my head, totally psychosomatic, that I was faking for attention. I was told I was a cocaine addict, which was very comical to me because they kept running drug tests on me, and then my mom would be like, I see that you're not using drugs still. And I'm like, correct, Mom. It was just funny. It became like a running joke in my family how many drug tests they would do on me because they were somehow convinced that I was a cokehead. And for the record, I've never done cocaine. I don't think it's a good idea for me. Not really big into drugs, but anyway, that's a weird tangent that I got off on. But I lost a lot, and when I was in college, during my undergrad, I did get a degree, and I'm very proud of that, but I was battling my health, and I was very, very sick, and it affected relationships and friendships. It affected my ability to study abroad in that I couldn't, even though I was accepted to some incredible programs. It just really affected a lot, and there are a lot of things that I worked very hard for in my life that didn't happen and didn't work out because my health. And it had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with my qualifications, my intelligence, my anything. It was just based on the fact that, like, it wasn't safe for someone as sick as me to do the things that I wanted to do. That was something that I've never fully acknowledged or grieved. I've never fully acknowledged or grieved the loss of my career, especially the one that I was building when I lost my job and had to go on disability. Having to go on disability losing your job at 29 and having to apply for federal disability when you have worked your butt off and worked 2 jobs all the way through college. I worked full-time as an undergrad student, full class load with a full-time job, okay? I worked my butt off to have a career. I wanted it more than anything. I love working. I wanted to just crush it. It was devastating to lose that job because when I lost that job, I knew that it was the last time I would ever have a conventional, traditional job in my life, and that was devastating. The loss of independence. I can't drive for numerous reasons. I haven't driven in almost 4 years, and that that is really hard. I rely very heavily on other people, and I am a fiercely independent person, but I need help feeding myself. I need help getting around. I need help cleaning my house. I need help with a lot of things. It's very hard. I have lost a lot of my hobbies and passions because I grew up obsessed with exercise, and not in a like unhealthy way. I just like moving my body. I love being active. I started studying classical ballet when I was 2 years old. I trained for a very long time. I was on point, like the point shoes, not like I was on point, girl. And eventually quit because of the body shaming. I was too short and too fat to go anywhere with my ballet, so I switched over to cheerleading. I was a runner, I was a rock climber, I rode my bike everywhere, I played tennis, like you name it, I did it. I was so active and I loved it. I loved moving my body. I loved feeling fit. I was a freaking yoga teacher, for goodness sake. Like, I loved it. I loved that feeling of just moving my body and of being healthy and fit, and I have lost that because the conditions that I have, I can't do the same activities, and we are working to try to find activities that I can do, but it's different. Going for a walk does not give you the same surge of joy and endorphins as going for a run in the mountains. It just doesn't. It's not the same. I remember the last time I ran. That's how much I loved it. I remember so vividly the last time I ran. And like, I am gonna cry remembering it because I miss it so much. And I remember my last yoga class. And all of these things, like, and it breaks my heart because I have not acknowledged the loss. I've lost friends because of my health. I have lost, like, there's just been a lot of loss. Let's just leave it there, or I actually will start crying, and I don't want to do that, because, like, nobody needs to see that bummer level. But if you have something similar to me, where you are disabled or you live with chronic pain, chronic illness, you have experienced loss, you have experienced trauma, you have experienced really terrifying things, you've probably experienced horrific stigma, people have said really mean things to you, all of these things, and I personally have not fully given myself permission to acknowledge or grieve them and to move through them, move past them. And there is a part of me that I did not realize was hanging on to that person that I thought I was going to be and that I wanted to be. And I was unwilling to let her go. Even though in my brain, the logical side of me knew that I was never going to be that person, my heart could not let her go. And I can't move forward, and I can't get to know who I am if I continue to try to be this person that is no longer me. That is a person that's not me anymore. The person that I am dreaming of, that I miss, that I weep for. That's not me. That's another lifetime's version of me or something. But like, that's not my reality. And I have not given myself permission to fully grieve all of the loss that I have gone through. And with that, I have not given myself permission to acknowledge the just sheer amount of pain that I endure. And I mostly mean physical, but also emotional pain. Because dang it, if it is not emotionally beat you up to be sick and disabled and all of that, and the shame and the stigma and all of that, I don't like living in the bummer, so I wasn't acknowledging it. And I really don't like acknowledging my pain. I don't like to talk about it. I downplay it a lot, like a lot, and to a point that I am realizing it's not healthy because I don't give myself what I need because I try to just push through. And there are just so many things that I realize that are actually why I am sad and why I am struggling and why I am overwhelmed and why I can't figure out who I am, that have absolutely nothing to do with paying a bill. Like, I know how to pay bills. It's not that. Like, come on, Sergeant. It's not the bills. It's not the crummy surgeon I had. It's not any of those things. Like, it's everything I've lost. It's all the things that I refuse to acknowledge because I really like to pretend that everything is perfect. I am a classic perfectionist. I am a type A control freak, and I love to just be like, everything's perfect. Everything's great. I'm wonderful. I'm fine. What? Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. My pain is at a level 9.5 and I think I might black out soon, but I'm great. Like, cut the BS. Deal with it. So that's what I figured out, and it like blew my mind. And you might be sitting here going, what is wrong with you, you dum-dum? Like, obviously those are things that you need to acknowledge, but like, when you're in survival mode, it's hard to acknowledge. And I've been in survival mode for almost 16 years. Like, I have been in survival mode since I was a child, so I really didn't have space to step back and acknowledge and grieve and go and like fully do this, because I was just surviving. I was just trying to keep a roof over my head. I was trying to get through school. I was trying to find a job. I was trying to keep my job. I was trying to get disability. I was trying to make sure Lee and I didn't lose our house or go bankrupt or this, that, and the other. It was constant survival. I was, all this other stuff. And so now I am realizing that I need to stop trying to survive because I'm okay. Like, I'm not okay at all, but I'm okay in the sense that I have my doctors, I have my support system, I have people who are going to help me, and it's time for me to do the internal work and to say goodbye to the person I thought I was going to be, and to say goodbye to the dreams that I had, and to say goodbye to the things that were in my life that are no longer possible or relevant. And that might sound like I'm giving up, but I'm not. I'm actually accepting I'm not giving up. It's the opposite of giving up. I don't know what the opposite of giving up is, but that's what I'm doing. It's the opposite of giving up, because I had become so sad that I was lazy, I was apathetic, I was lackadaisical, I was all of these things, and I just did not care because I had no zest for life, because I was trying to build this life that was impossible for me to have. And I was still holding on to dreams that I had from like 10 years ago and 20 diseases ago. Like, come on, that's not realistic. And so looking at what my reality actually is and saying, okay, not when I'm stable, not after I've recovered from this whatever, not any of that, like right now, today. The pain I'm in today, the problems I have today, all of that, what can I do? What tiny steps can I make to imagine a life for myself? And that's where I really started to make shifts, is I started to imagine my next life, my new life. I started to get really specific with myself about what I want my life to look like and who I want to be, because as I'm grieving and letting go of what was, I am making space in my heart, in my mind, in my being for hope, for new beginnings, for a new dream, a new sense of identity, a new sense of self. And so as I find space for that, I'm getting really specific with myself about what do I want and what can I bring from the old me and what is best left behind. And it's really personal. So I can't, not in a like, I'm not telling you, it's so personal, shh, that's a secret. Not like that, not that kind of personal, but it's like different for everybody, personal. So my journey is going to look different from your journey, and your journey is going to look different from somebody else's journey. But like, get out your journal, get out a camera and ramble at it if you need, like whatever it is, or an audio recorder, whatever it is, like start to think about what it is that you want your life to look like. And be realistic. Be realistic about what your life is like today. Survey that, and then think about how you want to change it. And that was the like aha moment that I had. And I hope that this makes sense. I know that I'm being crazy rambly, but it's just been really like, whoa, intense for me. And I'm in like a wind tunnel of emotion. So yeah, that's what's up. And that's where I am on my journey. Sorry, I'm on a really creaky bench and my back is effing killing me. It is in full spasm, so I'm owning my pain and I'm trying not to be fidgety, but my back hurts so much. So I'm gonna wrap this up pretty quick. But that is where I'm at, and I think we need to be more compassionate with ourselves. I know I need to have more compassion for myself. I know that I need to like really make some changes in how I view myself and my reality, and I am really looking forward to seeing where this goes. So I will probably in the next couple weeks start to make some videos again about my health. I had said that I wasn't going to talk about it for about 6 weeks or until I felt ready. And because I'm realizing that my health specifically isn't the problem, but more my response to it, I feel comfortable talking about my health and how I manage it and all of those things. So if there are topics y'all want me to go over, let me know in the comments. I'm like very happy to make any video you want. If you have any types of questions for me, please let me know. I am just so grateful that you are on this journey with me. I am totally touched and amazed that you care, and I really genuinely appreciate you spending your time with me. I know everybody's so busy, so thank you for sitting down and listening to me ramble. I hope that you got something from it, because this is really important and it's big and it's bigger than us. It's bigger than I think we realize, and this isn't the end of this topic. This isn't the end of this conversation. So, yeah, I would say that I would love for everyone who sees this video to write down things that they have lost that they're ready to let go of. And if you feel like you're comfortable sharing that, share it in the comments. Like, what have you lost and what are you ready to grieve and let go of? Like, I would love to hear what you guys have had to say goodbye to. I think it would be a very powerful thing, because regardless of what your condition is or your diagnosis or whatever, we are a community. If you struggle with pain or anything like that, you're a part of this community. It's not a contest. Suffering is not a contest. Diagnoses are not what we're going for here. It's about the human experience, and we are all humans on our own journeys, and I would be very interested to see what you all have had to say goodbye to and how you managed to do that. And yeah, thank you again for taking your time to hang out with me. I love it. I appreciate you, and I very much look forward to the next video and to talking to you again very, very soon. Sending you love from the bottom of my heart. Mwah! Have a beautiful rest of your day or night, wherever you are in this world. Bye, y'all.